everyone. It is officially 8:30, so it is Money Monday. And today, if you saw my short little video introducing today, you'll know it's about paying yourself first. And what I mean by that, yay, Lexi's here. So I am on tonight with my special guest,
Hi.
and hey, and she has just arrived. So I'm
Yes.
gonna give her a chance to introduce herself to you and tell everybody if you didn't meet her during our little video earlier tonight. Just tell a little bit about herself and what she does and all the amazing things going on for her.
Okay. Hi, guys. My name is Lexis. I am a chef. I do cookies, candies, and cakes, and I also do this crazy cuisine I came up with called Boricua Guichi, which is a Puerto Rican and Southern fusion. From my father's side of the family is Puerto Rican, and my mom's side of the family is from the South. So we put these two together, and we get this wonderful food like okra soup and bene brittle, which is sesame brittle. It's pretty good. So I actually started my first business when I was 22, 21, 22. I started when I was in college, but like officially I started when I got around 22 after I had my first son. I started Lady Lexus Sweets. And then from there, I had it for 5 years. Over that time, I've been featured at Essence, Daily Meal, and at Harlem Meetup, Food and Wine Festival, a bunch of other good places. And then most recently, now I'm featured at Shake Shack. So you can get my snickerdoodles at Shake Shack. And now
Yeah.
I do pop-up shops. So that's what I do now. I do a lot of pop-up shops.
Oh, hold on a second. Gabriella said she
Can't
can't.
hear me?
I'm not sure. Gabriella, hi, if you're there and if you can hear us, let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I really hope everybody just heard that because your qualifications are amazing. Um, yeah, I really want that sesame brittle.
Yeah, I'll send you some. That'll be awesome.
Okay. So that's pretty cool because you're coming at this from like an entrepreneurship type of mentality.
Yeah.
And so in entrepreneurship, paying yourself first is so freaking important because I also own my own business and we are the first people to like not pay ourselves and be like, "Oh no, I want to make sure that the business survives and I want to be really good to the business and I'm not going to
Hmm.
pay myself or I'm going to take as little as possible." And what we don't realize is that sometimes in that case, we're actually doing a disservice to the
Hmm.
business. Because how can you invest yourself 100% into something if it's not making you any money? At some
Right.
point, you're gonna have to leave and go
Yeah,
do
because you're not
something
getting
to support
paid.
yourself. Exactly. And so thinking about that when you start a business
Hmm.
about what I learned in so I recently graduated from the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program.
Hmm.
And it was really amazing because one of the things that they forced us to think about is how much do you want for you? Now, once you know that number, then you can figure out how much you need to make in
Right.
order to get to that number. And it's like a whole different way of looking at business. Like it's putting your needs first, making sure your needs get met, and then, you know, molding the business and shaping the business into
Hmm.
something that meets your needs.
Right, exactly. You know, I just set my new goal for so I want to make I said I want to make bring home 5,000 to myself. you know, like without, after I pay everything, whatever, that's what my new goal is. I mean, I'm not near that, so I don't want anybody to think that I'm like super rich, but I'm like, that's a good goal because at least I aimed high. And then I know that if I fall short, I'm okay with that because I know I'm building towards it. So I want to aim as high as I think, you know, what's like possible for right now at this stage, with all the connections I have, and then work my way up to that. So that means, you know, whatever cost it costs me per month to make my help my business to keep running, whatever it costs me to pay all my other people, and then however much it costs me, like, you know, the little things of like running to these pop-up shops. So plus that, plus my stuff, I know that that's what I want to do by like the end of this year. That's my new goal.
That's amazing. I love that goal. And I love that you've like that is the goal that you set. Like it wasn't just a goal for your business. Like it was literally a goal for what you want in life. Because I think that's what it comes down to. Like money is never, the end goal.
Right.
Money like there this is what you want in life, and I'm sure
Right.
that the reason you picked like 5,000 is because you want to be able to do something amazing with it for your life.
Yeah, yeah. I wanna buy a building. So that's my next step. After this year or so, I'm 28 now. So I wanna buy a building. My mom and I wanna create a school for adult education. And then I want a restaurant. So I need a new restaurant because now that I'm not at a brick and mortar anymore, I want to work back up towards being back in a brick and mortar with a warehouse. So that's what I'm working towards. And it's difficult, like you said, you do a disservice to yourself if you don't give yourself money because all you're doing is like giving your business money and then you're kind of like starving. You're starving constantly every single week, not literally, but figuratively, you're starving because you're just like you're always at zero because you might get money from somewhere else. You can buy, you know, it's but so many perks you can get, you know, because we get perks as being, you know, entrepreneurs and stuff and knowing people. And there's been so much favors you can ask for. You have to use your own money at some point. So, you know, that's why I figured like that's a good goal to work towards. And I need to be financially fit in order to get to that goal.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I want to say like this is not even just for entrepreneurs, just on like
Hmm.
a personal level. Like your bills are always going to be there.
Yeah.
Like they're going to take as much as they're going to take. And if you're not paying yourself first, like let's say you're working a nine to five, if
Hmm.
you're not going and taking out as soon as your paycheck comes, money for your goals, money for your needs
Hmm.
before paying all your bills, what happens is all the bills get paid and then somehow you don't have any money left to pay yourself or to
Yeah.
put towards that savings or to put towards that investment or to save for that retirement, like whatever it
Hmm.
was, whatever, or even a vacation, like to save for your vacation. If that's
Yeah.
like your goals, one of your needs, like that, you should pay yourself first and like figure out how
Hmm.
much you can take out of it off
Yeah.
the top before everything else gets paid.
Hmm.
Because then what just happens naturally is that the rest of your expenses kind of shift
Yep.
and it makes room for that. And people think like, oh, if I pay myself first, then there's not going to be enough money left over for to pay the bills.
And it's like,
It's
so what? You gotta pay them for the
right.
rest of your life anyway. You know, your
Yes.
little bit of struggle now is not gonna kill you in the long run. You know,
Yeah.
I realized that, you know, me taking, like you said, let's say the light bill is $100 a month, but I only can pay $75 because I gave myself that extra $25. That $25 is my investment in maybe cards or an ad that I take out on Instagram or, you know, maybe a new t-shirt so that I can promote myself as I'm walking down the street. And that $25 can possibly make me a couple of other hundreds of dollars just with that little bit of money. So, you know, everybody's like they want this perfect thing, but I said it's everything can't be perfect, you know, all the time. Some things have to lack in order for some things to be 100%. You can't be 100% with bills and 100% with an entrepreneur unless you're rich. And we all know we're not all rich.
Yeah, and even just like other things just become less important. So
Mm-hmm.
like I know especially I had a conversation with one of my clients and eating out after she started paying herself first, like eating out just became less
Mm-hmm.
important. You know, like she's like, "Oh, I don't really want to eat out like 3 times a week. I'm
Right.
okay with eating out once a week or and
Mm-hmm.
like cooking or I don't need to get lunch every single day
Right.
by my job." Like, no, maybe I'll pack some lunch and like do it a little bit cheaper.
Yeah.
And right, so like
I
other
can make
things
coffee at
just like
home.
yeah. And especially well for you, like you probably eat amazing food all the time.
You know what's funny? I know everybody's gonna laugh, but most chefs, and they probably are gonna they're gonna love that I'm saying this, but we eat hot dogs. It's so weird. Like we'll eat the weirdest stuff. I remember I was doing this event, and then at the end we're like, we didn't eat. You guys want to get hot dogs from 7-Eleven? And we're like, everyone's like, oh, we made all this spectacular food and these short ribs and everything else, and then we're like, let's just get a Slurpee, you know? And it's so funny because we
Oh,
really sometimes we either eat really like really good or you just don't eat at all. So I've become in more of a habit to like, since I do have those skills, making sure that I do cook a little bit more at home, because I have the habit of, because I do cook for everybody else, not necessarily cooking for myself because I'm so tired of being in the kitchen. So now I'm like, you know what? I need to make it a point that, okay, I am going to cook for myself. I am going to stop buying food out. Like I decided that every time I think I'm gonna buy something out, that same money I was gonna use to buy, I'm gonna put it away. So like that's like my little way of saving so that I can use it for something later and get a little bit more straight on
I love that.
it.
Like that I'm so impressed right now because that's such a great way to think about things and a
Hmm.
great like it's just so great to do. I know that I've, you know, in the past like I've recommended for people to like when they go if they're going to spend something on an indulgence to put the
Hmm.
same amount in savings.
Right.
So like let's say you were going to spend $100 on a meal, spend that $100 but put another $100 away and
Right.
like see if you could still swing that meal.
That's
Um
a good
but
one.
this is great because you just like substituted, right?
Yeah.
You were like, this is more important to me. It's so
Yeah.
much more important that I don't even give a shit about like this. It's
Yeah.
all about my goals.
Yeah, because I'm trying to pay off some of these things so that I can raise my credit score so that I can be able to buy the building. You know, if I don't raise that score, even though the things that I have are very, I don't even think I have that much debt on there. Like it's just a couple of things that I've had from like when I was in college, but because they're so long, you know, those little things pile up. So, like you said, when you don't pay yourself, if you don't pay yourself, you never get a chance to pay those things off. So that's why I've been trying to do this actually now, just recently, because I haven't really been paying myself for the past 5 years, which is terrible. But people don't know that that's what really happens when you're an entrepreneur. And even when you work, like you said, a 9 to 5, people take their money, they just pay all this stuff, and then they have what, $50 left. They live in paycheck to paycheck, and then they're like, well, I'm broke again. It's like, yeah, you're broke again because you didn't look at what you have to assess what you need, or one of the things have to go. Like you have to, some things we have to realize it has to go. Whether it's a cable, maybe it's something, you know, maybe like you said, an indulgence that you have just for a short time, or you have to get another side hustle. I'm all for the side
Yeah.
hustle.
Yeah. And it's like easier now than ever to get a side hustle. You
Hmm.
really like can have a free Instagram account and be
Yep.
selling like
Yep.
it's so much easier now with like
Hmm.
the internet and Instagram and Facebook and like even if you have to do like a Facebook ad
Right.
to sell things, it's so cheap and you can reach so many people.
Easily.
Um or just like I know so many people who do like hair or makeup as a
Hmm.
side hustle and they post it in groups
Hmm.
or like to be on Fiverr if you're really good at
Yeah.
drawing. Hell, people are making money like standing in line for other people.
I
Like,
know, right?
like you can make money doing anything if you are literally just
Willing.
yeah, if you're willing to go and stand in line for somebody else, you can fucking make money doing that.
Yeah, just standing on line. Like, people, even sitters, people do house sitting where they leave their pets at home and they don't want to take them to the dog sitter or the cat sitter, and they're like, they don't trust them, and they let people sit in their house. They're like, come
Yeah,
to my house, chill out, feed the cat,
eat my
feed the
food.
dog. That's it. And just hang out, So you get house sitting is a thing now. You know what I mean? Used to be for a family member will come and check on your house, make sure everything is good. But now people actually staying in their house like a B&B pretty much. You get like a real little vacation.
Yeah, I have somebody coming to stay in my house from like Wednesday to Sunday because
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing so there's an adult summer camp in New Jersey and I'm actually teaching at it.
Oh,
I
wow.
yeah, so I'm doing a workshop about living in your money reality.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm doing like laser like these little flash coaching sessions of like 15
Oh,
minutes each of just like streamlining your finances and getting like sharky with your money.
cool.
So I'm going to this adult summer camp and literally somebody is coming and they're staying in my house
Just
and
chilling
taking
out.
care of my dog.
Which
So
is
yeah,
pretty
you can
cool.
yeah, and I know that I've done it in the past. I used to do dog sitting. I used to have people drop their dogs off at my house.
Oh, that's
I
pretty cool.
the first one of the first businesses that I started was like dog poop scooping. Like
Whatever makes the
people
money.
exactly like I'd come and I'd clean your backyard of dog poop and like
Oh, that is a
yeah, because
need.
yeah, because people don't want to walk their dogs, and so
And
they
they
if they
put them in the
have a
backyard.
yard, they
Yes.
let them go. And then who you don't want to have a backyard full of poop.
Right.
So I was a teenager and I was going around and like with a
Scoop and
shovel,
poop.
with my little shovel,
It's
scooping
so
poop.
funny.
Yeah, I did
Had a
that
good
and like
time.
dog walking and dog sitting.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so many I've had like so many little
Some
like
little
you said,
jobs.
like I was pretty much an entrepreneur for life and like just
Me too.
I feel like so I also worked in restaurants
Mm-hmm.
for the majority of my life. Like I started working in restaurants when I was 14
Wow.
and I probably worked in restaurants up until like 21, 22. But even that, I feel like is a there's a level of entrepreneurship, especially as like a
Yeah.
waiter. You
Yeah, you
have
have
to
to
like
hustle yourself. You
you
have
gotta
to
hustle,
sell
make that money.
yourself. Yes.
Yeah.
Selling your
So
personality, selling all everything you have to give, selling all these extra things and letting them get add-ons and making sure they buy the extra drink or they buy the extra sides and they you upsell to make sure they put the next sides up so that you get some more money. I totally understand. I want to say I've been an entrepreneur probably since I was a kid too. I never realized it until I looked back at it because one of my friends from elementary school said, well, I knew you were always gonna be one. I was like, oh, whatever, and I'm like, you think about it, like when I was a kid, I would sew and I would sew pillows. So I would make pillows for everybody and like these pretty pillows. And then I would I think what else did I make? I made book bags. I made drawstring book bags. That was pretty cool. So once everybody got the stuff, supply and demand, I only had like 15 other students in my class. Everybody with a book bag, on to the next thing. And then I would sell, when I was in high school, I would sell cupcakes. And which is weird because I never thought about it as anything. I was just like, I need to hustle to make some money during lunchtime because I don't want to ask my mom for money for lunch. So I wanted to make some extra money and I would sell them at lunchtime. And then like when I got to college, selling selling pans of food and cupcakes and stuff. So I've always at some level had some type of hustle, I would say, since I was a kid. So yeah, I wish I would have learned the financial literacy a little bit earlier, but it's different, you know, as far as the internet and education is different. So I mean, I learned it when I learned it. So it's a good thing that I'm
Yeah.
learning it now.
Yeah, and honestly, like even it sounds like even back then you were paying yourself. It was just your priorities were different.
Yeah.
Like what mattered to you, what you wanted to do with that money was different. It was a
Yeah.
maybe it was a little bit less intentional, but like it was still a version of paying yourself. And I'm
Yeah.
always like, don't feel bad for like I never feel bad for the mistakes that I've made in the past because I just
Hmm.
feel like they set you up for future success.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
how
they
else
do.
are you supposed to know that that's not what you want
Hmm.
if you didn't do it and find out like that's not what I want. That didn't feel good. That wasn't good for me.
Right.
Like
You won't know until you grow. So yeah, now that I'm at a different stage and you know I'm seeing all the things and other I have other priorities because I have two sons and I want to get a bigger place for them and I want to have make sure they have their own rooms. I want a bigger kitchen because I like to cook even more now. So you know all these little things have come into play. Like you said, as you grow, you get to know what's going on. So that's how you change your priorities instead of lunch. Now I want a house.
yeah. Yeah, and that's huge.
Hmm.
And paying yourself first will definitely go make huge strides towards that because just like thinking about it, I know that for me when I put names to my goals and like give my money an intention, it really goes to work for me. You know, like
Hmm.
I did the same thing when I bought my condo
Hmm.
and to get the down payment for it. It was about setting an intention and saying, "Oh, this is what this money is for." And
Right.
that's the reason that I don't touch it
Yeah.
because I want this. Like I want my house. I want
Hmm.
to own my first piece of real estate.
Yeah.
Um, and then when I wanted to like I actually still haven't done it, but I want to redo my kitchen, but I have all the money saved up because I I literally set up an automatic transfer. I created this account called New Kitchen
Oh,
and
that's a
just
good idea. Yes.
started paying myself every week. Money just came straight out of my checking account, went into that account, and like that was the goal that I was saving for. And it just happens to be I haven't had the chance to like go
To get
pick
it
out
together.
cabinets and get appliances, but like the money is there and it's waiting for me.
Yeah, which is good.
Um,
At least to
yeah,
have it there as an option and not have it at all.
yeah. And so I also want to make sure we've been like chatting and this has been like so freaking amazing because you're so cool. Ah! But I want to make sure that everybody who's watching now or on the replay, if you have any questions for
Yeah.
either of us, feel free to ask them. You can ask them in the comments. Um, and we will answer it either right now or if you're watching on the replay, we'll totally check back in and answer any questions that you have. Um, yeah, so I just wanted to make sure everybody knows that as well before we continue on this crazy tangent of but yeah, I that's kind of like what I want people to get is that paying yourself doesn't look the same for everybody.
Right.
And it could be for you, it's, creating a better home for your children
Hmm.
and owning something. And maybe for somebody else, it's paying down debt.
Yeah.
May, for somebody else, it could be, saving up for a vacation.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
it's like a really personal thing and it's about your needs and making sure that they're met because if they're not being met you're not going to be happy and it's not sustainable.
No, and you know, I realized you kind of beat yourself up in the end. And I looked at myself and I was like, you know what, you know, what do I have to show for 30? Because I'll be 29 this year, and I'm like, I'll be 30 next year. What do I have to show for 30? Like, what do I have that I've accomplished so far that I have to show for all this time that I've been on this earth, you know? I mean, clearly I've only been an adult, but for so many years. But, you know, what impact have I made? What lessons have I learned? What am I moving forward to? What position am I putting myself in to be financially fit? Because I know that for my children to be financially fit, I have to first be financially fit, or at least have the tools to know how to tell them to be financially fit. So that, you know, my mom helps me as well, as far as like stocks and all these other investments and prepare for retirement. So that's another thing that people have to think about too. Like you said, even if you don't pay yourself, maybe you pay yourself to the retirement. Maybe you're not paying yourself necessarily to in your pocket. You might have enough money to put in your pocket to hang out or whatever, but you need to prepare for later as well, because it's not all the time that you may be only having that paycheck that's coming in now. And I also find that, you know, somebody said a good thing to me. I never thought about it like this. When you have a 9 to 5, you only have one client. And that one client is the sole source of your money. And they were like, would you ever depend on only one person to come through for you? And I'm like, you know what? I never thought about it like that. You know, that's why you need at least, I would say for an average person needs at least two streams of money. And that's why households work with, you know, two people living in a household. That's why roommates work, because it's two or more people working together to pay towards this household. And it's hard, you know, no matter where you're at. I mean, I'm in New York City. I know people are all over the place, but no matter where you are, it's still relative. So you need to worry about like how are you going to put yourself in a position to be comfortable after you spend your money on your stuff, and then, you know, not spend down to zero, because you can't always spend down to zero. Emergencies happen. I mean, you see natural disasters. People have health issues. You never know what can come up, and those couple of extra dollars can help you with.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And you hit everything. Like you literally hit everything. And not, you know, you're so right about, you know, why double income households work, why roommates work. And if you don't want those things,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like you got to make sure that you've got multiple streams of revenue,
Yep.
and like you've got your investments, and you're talking about a building, so I'm sure you're talking about like rental income.
Yeah. Yep.
So income from investments, income from side hustles, rental
Mm-hmm.
income, like it just makes everything a little bit more streamlined.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know, when you think about it from like a business standpoint, and
Mm-hmm.
even like when you think about it for banks, when they go
Yeah.
to lend to a business, they ask you how, you know, what percentage of your income do you have any one
Yeah.
client that accounts for a certain percentage of your income. And the
Yeah.
higher that percentage is, like if you have one client that accounts for like 60 or
Whew.
80% of your income, like you are much less attractive to them,
Yeah.
because yeah, because it's risky to put all your eggs in one basket, you
Yeah,
know?
it is. It is. And people don't, you know, people think about it in relationships, people think about it in other things, but they never think about it financially. And I don't understand why. You know, I know there's been this whole debate on, you know, don't bump the people that have the 9 to 5. And it's like, it's not bumping the people that have the 9 to 5. It's saying that just be more aware that, you know, you have to be something else besides that. You know, whatever it is, because when you turn 55 and you settle, you retire from this city job or whatever job you've had, and then it's like 55, you have the rest of your life. You know what I mean? Like things change, you know, circumstances change. You don't know what might happen after you retire. You might need another income besides that one pension check you might have coming in, or whatever little bit of retirement you have coming in. And it's not the same. People don't understand as well. It might be relative, but it's not the same amount of money you had coming in when you were actually working. So you still might have to make up for that with other supplementary income. They have to really, really look into that and really think hard about what that action plan is. And starting young.
Yeah. And it's
Hmm.
so much better when the younger you start, like the
Hmm.
easier it is. Not to say that you can't start later in life, you
Right.
definitely can. But it's also just I just think about it sometimes is like if you have just that one job, you
Hmm.
are literally letting that job kind of define who you are. Like you
Yeah.
spend so much time there.
More
Like
time than
you
your
spend
house.
yeah, you spend the majority of your time is spent either at work or sleeping.
Yes.
So, like, if you think about it, having one source of income, having one job, like, that is letting those moments define the majority of your life.
Yeah. You can never do anything else. And people don't understand that as well. Paying yourself means paying yourself from not being, being stuck at one place, all the time, not missing certain things. And I mean, I want to say I pay myself, like people, why you're an entrepreneur, I pay myself so that I can go to my kid's graduation. Today was my son's graduation and I was able to go without a problem. I pay myself so that I can, be able to go to, soccer games or whatever it is, and all these things that I don't want to miss, or like the spa day that I need, the vacation time that I need, and or just lounging in the house and not doing anything, those types of things. That's why you make sure you have those other things set up for yourself.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I've also found, I mean, I know we're like really strongly promoting entrepreneurship, but I really think that it's the way of the future because not
Hmm.
only do you get to determine how much you pay yourself, but
Hmm.
you on a different level get to determine your worth.
Right.
And you dictate how much you're worth and how much your value is. It's not
Hmm.
somebody else saying, "Hey, this is how much you're worth to me."
Yep. Yeah,
And
and
that's a
that's
different
true.
conversation.
Yeah, and people, they ask me too, they're like, how do you know that you want to choose that path? And I'm like, well, I mean, you don't have to necessarily be an entrepreneur, because like I said, we want to make sure we help hear everybody out, but you can being a consultant is a form of entrepreneurship. They dictate what you do, but you can pick and choose which clients you take on. And that's a form of you being able to like take on more or take on less, and that can also help you too as well as your well-being, because sometimes we find that these jobs too, we work these 40, 50 hours, 60 hours a week, and we're taken advantage of. Or it is not even, sometimes we're not even taking advantage of. Maybe they just don't have other staff to really fulfill what you do. You might be that great that you do what you do very well, and they don't have anybody like you. So they work you because they need you, and you have to know your worth. And if your worth is that good, somebody else may need you too on 2 days, and somebody else may need you 2 days. And in those 4 days, you can probably make twice as much as you're making with those 60 hours that you work at that one job. And that's all people have to look at it like, if they think about some of the things for people who need to be a little bit more free, they need to think about those things when they move forward.
Yeah, and
Hmm.
that's it's exactly it. That's the reason that I created my business. It was because I found something that I did so well and I was being undervalued. Like I was
Hmm.
working sometimes 70, 80 hours a week for one client, like
One
one
client.
person
Hmm.
who was completely undervaluing me.
Hmm.
And I remember I went to them for, a raise. I knew that I was worth way more.
Right.
And they were just like, no, maybe a little. I can't give you what you want. And I was like, you know, I need to be doing this for more than one client. I need to
Yeah.
like be only working with people that understand my worth and that I
Yep.
don't have to prove my worth to over and over and over again. And that's one of like the greatest things about being an entrepreneur or having your own business is
Hmm.
that you get to decide who your people are.
Yeah.
You get to decide who you want to work with and you don't have to be everybody's cup of tea. Like
No.
I looked completely different when I worked for somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, well, me, I looked completely different like a year ago, but
Me too. Don't feel bad. I've just never been blue before. I've been every other color except for blue and green. A little bit of green
yeah.
because of the blonde. Sometimes the blonde turns green, but not on purpose. But I've been every color except for blue.
Yeah, the blue happened maybe, I don't know, 2 months ago? Not
See,
even probably.
it's like that.
Yeah, so I told, and this is like so much more me than anything else. But I know when I worked in, like, I've had my nose ring for since I was like 17.
Hmm.
And even that, when I worked in the banks, when I worked at Morgan Stanley, like I couldn't have that in.
Right.
And it's just a totally different, like you have to
It took a part of you.
con yeah, you have to
Hmm.
conform to what somebody else wants you to look like, and you have to
Yes.
work with everybody that they need you to work with.
Hmm.
And as an entrepreneur, no, like I'm not everybody's cup of tea. If you don't like chicks with blue hair taking
Right.
care of your money, like, sorry, you
Sorry.
shouldn't work with me, you
Yeah.
know?
And I like to
If
be
you
free.
exactly.
I
So,
understand. I understand. Because even like with my curly hair, I was never able to wear it before. And, it was a big thing about wearing curly hair. I mean, now there's a new curly wave, so it's a little bit different. But before, people were just like, well, you can't wear your hair like that. And I was like, really? I said, the hair that goes out of my head? And they're like, no. And I said, this whole thing is not going to work for me anymore. And that's why I started my own journey on like really push hard to work for myself because I'm like, I don't ever want anybody to dictate how I present myself because I never felt like I presented myself in an unprofessional fashion. It'd be different if I said something wrong or if I looked bad, if I didn't look like I was put together. But something as simple as hair, I was like, no, I don't want to fight with anybody on that. Like people don't want to fight anybody with tattoos even, now that people are more tatted and they want to make sure that they are showing their creativity and they draw them and they have meanings to them. They don't want to hide those anymore. And there's nothing wrong with it. So that's why you gotta choose the life you want to have to make you
yeah.
not feel like you're closing yourself off.
Yeah, and honestly, if you work for somebody else, and that's totally cool. If that is something like entrepreneurship is not everybody's cup of tea.
No.
Um, and like if you work for somebody else, but you still want to have your individuality
Hmm.
and choose also the companies that you work for,
Yeah.
like paying yourself first and creating like a little buffer
Hmm.
helps, because then you're not desperate looking for the next job when this job becomes toxic or you feel
Yep.
like it's time to move on, because you've got money saved up. You
Yep.
paid yourself first and you took care of making sure that like that need is met, that if shit goes downhill, I can move on to the next thing, and
Yeah.
I can leave right now.
Yep. I
I
didn't
don't
even
have to
think about it.
wait.
Nope. I don't have to
Yeah.
wait 6 months to leave. You know what I mean? I don't have to wait. See, I'm an extremist, so I'll leave. I mean, I currently I teach, and then I have another part-time job. I won't disclose the other part-time job only because of other reasons. But I'm a person that I remember when I worked at Dwayne Reed. I'll disclose that I left. I was like, they're not gonna give my days off. Not going back. And I was like, I knew that it was not for me, and I did not work since then. I This is the first time I've ever had like something else besides that because I'm an extremist when it comes to certain things. I'm like, oh, whatever, bye, think later. The money's gonna come. I'm real like optimistic, and and it kind of like happens, because when you throw yourself out there and you put yourself out there, it kind of always worked out for me. So I don't recommend that for everybody because everybody doesn't have like that gusto, but it definitely did work out for me. Like I mean, I wish I would have planned a little bit more to be like you said, in the future, when I do that, I would have more paid myself so that I know when I'm looking for the next thing or if there's a drought. Because sometimes some things have certain seasons. If you work in construction, if you work in hair, if you work in certain things, certain times of year, people just don't get those services. And depending on where you're at, there's nothing you can do about that. Especially like in the wintertime when people are covering up their hair, they might not necessarily be going to get their hair done all the time. And then in extreme heat, they might not go get their hair done either because they're probably on the beach all the time, or they're in the pool all the time. So you have to, like buffer for those times. And that's another thing with paying yourself, also buffering for low times in whatever craft you do, whether it's a business, you work a commission, or you work for yourself. You have to buffer those times where it might not be enough hours for you if you work, because I know a lot of us work part-time jobs that it depends on how many hours we get is how much money we have, extra. And if we don't get those extra hours this week, we might not be able to pay our bills or pay ourselves. And those little things, creating those buffers, I think will definitely help people moving forward if they really think about the conversation we had.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's huge, and that's a big part of it. Like emergencies happen
Mm-hmm.
also. Like there's so many things you spoke about it, like natural disasters,
Yeah.
getting sick, like those are the things that if you're paying yourself first consistently, that it won't put you into financial ruin. You
Yeah.
won't be like destitute because you'll have had something saved up, or you'll have had something else
Mm-hmm.
just waiting, to make sure that you're okay. And
Yeah.
that's I'm also very much, I call it a jumper. Like if like I feel like I'm going into a new venture, like I jump head first into things. When I quit, when I started my business and quit my full-time job, I stayed at my full-time job literally until I got my mortgage on my
Oh, yeah.
condo. And
Done.
the day after my closing, and I made sure that like so in New York, when you buy a property, they record your mortgage on like this place called
Yep.
Acris.
Actress. Yep. My mom's a broker,
And
so I know.
yeah, so
Yes.
I made sure my mortgage was up on Acris, and then I walked in to the to the CEO, and I was like, so
I'm leaving today, effective immediately.
so I gave 2 weeks. I gave 2 weeks. I was like, I'll give you 2 weeks. But he already knew it. He was like, you got your mortgage, didn't you? I was
Uh,
like, yeah.
yeah, I'm just waiting for them to say that it's okay, that I got money on paper. That's it. And I'm out.
Exactly.
See you
That was
later.
that was it. So like I'm also very much a jumper, but I feel like for me, that confidence has come from making sure that I always had a buffer. Like I made
Hmm.
sure that throughout every piece of my life, and that's because I had some pretty great role models as far as
Hmm.
it when it came to money.
Hmm.
And that was always so important in my household of like you have you make money in every possible way, and you save up so that you never have to worry about, you know, running out, because
Yeah.
we lived so, we were immigrants, and like a lot of the time it was so hard. And I remember
Yeah.
some of my first memories with savings on my first savings account was as a kid, like the money from 5-cent bottle returns that we used
Oh,
to go
yeah.
and pick up 5-cent bottles everywhere and then return it, and then that was money that I could then put into my like little, I had one of those savings accounts with a little book,
My
and
little
like I
book, my
got
tax
to like
book.
walk in and like get it
Yeah.
stamped that I had some money in there. But like it was so well entrenched in me to like be a saver and to think about the future and to think about goals, because you didn't want to stay like this forever,
Right.
that gave me like this innate confidence of like I could quit tomorrow, or I could move on to the next thing,
Yeah.
or like I never needed, I got my own cell phone when I was 14. Like my first purchase was I got a cell phone, and I got I remember a leather biker jacket. Like that was
Oh, that's
my,
awesome.
but like those things of just like, yeah, this is mine. I got my shit. I don't need to worry. I had saved up When I was 17, I bought my first car. Like it was all off of this idea of like, these are my goals and I'm putting towards them no matter what. Everything else can like
Kick rocks, pretty much.
exactly. Everything else can kick rocks and I'm going to do what I need to do to make sure that my needs are being met. And I think that's the message that I really want to get across today.
Yeah, like even leaving emergency money in your house, that's a buffer you always have to have. I've learned that with having kids because you always need cash. You'd be surprised what days you might need cash. So I leave $100 bill in my house. And I know that might be, $100 bill is, I mean, to an entrepreneur that doesn't make some money sometimes, that's a lot of money. And I'm like, oh, I could use this money for something else. And I'm like, you know what? No, this money has to stay there for just in case something happens or, whatever I need, or let's say I didn't get paid from a client and I could use that money to pay a bill or something like that. That was something I can use until that money comes back in to replenish it. So that's what I've definitely done because I feel like that was something that always helped me when I was a teenager. I would leave like a $20 bill underneath my lamp. So it would be like my stash money that if something happened, like the day that I don't get money for lunch, I knew I had the $20 in there that I could use, for lunch. So I always had like
Yeah.
this stash.
I feel like we're very similar in a lot of ways. Like I used to, well, when I was a teenager, I had a cushion. I had a cushion that I stuffed money into every day. Like every day, every time I made money, I would stuff a little bit into the cushion. That's how I paid for my first car. It was literally in like 20s or fives or singles, but I had stuffed into a cushion and I came like with a wad of like money
It's
to
like, here you
the
go. Just give me whatever this can afford, whatever all these, coins can afford.
pretty much. And it ended up working out really well for me. But yeah, it's about like really making sure that like whatever is your method, and I don't really like knowing what I know now, I would say I would have told teenage me to like put it in a high interest savings account and like
Yes,
make
yes,
some
yes.
money on that money. But when you're a teenager, like that, as long as you're moving forward, as long as you're doing something,
That's all that
like
matters.
that's all that matters. Like
That's all that matters.
today I'm not stuffing money in a cushion. I am leaving like an emergency, a
Mhm.
little emergency, a 20 or two around the house for I honestly I usually use it for laundry.
Yes, that's what
To
happens.
put money on
Exactly.
my laundry card.
Yeah.
But other than that, like I'm putting it now, I'm doing it like really responsibly
Hmm.
in a high interest online bank where my
Yeah.
money is working for me.
Yes.
But if you're teaching this to your kids, like let them have the piggy bank. Let them have whatever, because
Hmm.
especially as a child, like that physical representation of money
Hmm.
is kind of important because they deal in like tangible things. That's what's
Yeah.
real to them. I mean, it's really hard for a child to kind of understand the concept of
Hmm.
money and really understand like the full gravity of the financial situation without it being in front of them. Like
Yeah, my
giving
son gave
them
me
the
two
piggy
pennies to
bank.
buy him stuff. So I understand. My son, he's like, here's the 2 pennies. I could buy something. I said, no, man. 2 pennies is not buying you anything. Mary Janes are not a cent anymore, so that's not happening. There's no more 1 cent candies. They don't have
Yes.
that. That doesn't exist anymore. So I'm sorry. You can't give me 2 pennies.
That's so cute. Aw.
Yeah, he tries. But I do have the piggy bank. That's a good thing. And even my friend, she opened up a bank account for her son, and I'm following suit by that because, I had one when I was a kid, but you forget some of those things when you become a parent. You don't remember those little essentials sometimes, but somebody has to like nudge you to be like, look, you should make them do it so that they can just be a little bit more financially fit than you were when you were, as you are the age you are now. You want them to be a little bit better than you were before, like when they become your age.
Yeah, and I think especially for kids, it's about making it fun for them. Like
Mm-hmm.
for me, it was exciting to go to the
Yeah.
bank as a kid. Like, oh, this is my money and I
Mm-hmm.
get to put it away and like it was
Go
an
to the bank.
adventure, right? Like that's the same way that other kids, this is really weird to say, but like the same way that other kids like went and got ice cream, like
Yeah.
that was the fun trip for me.
Going to
We
the bank.
also, I wonder if we also went to get ice cream when we did this.
It's your association, money and ice
Right,
cream.
right. Like friendlies,
Yes.
money.
Money. Money. Clearly, friendlies means money.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I haven't thought about friendlies in a really long time, especially because as an adult, I'm allergic to dairy.
Oh no.
But that was like a really fun
Fun
experience
trip.
for me as a
Yeah.
kid. Like going to friendlies and drawing on their table, well,
Yeah.
on their like placemats
Yeah.
um and the same thing, like, well, not the same thing, but the same way. It was
Same way.
super great adventure to go to the bank
Yeah.
and like get to deposit my own money, and it was always like a fun, it was made into like a fun family activity. So as
It
long
is.
as you keep that on for your kids,
Mm-hmm.
like they'll they'll have a different relationship with money. They'll associate with it differently. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I think one of the worst things that we tell our kids is like money is the root of all evil.
I know. It's funny you say that because people say having more money doesn't make you happy. I said, well, having less money doesn't make me happy either. So I think I'm gonna go with a little bit more money. I'm just, I'm not,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They're like more money, more problems. I'm just like, but I think they said having money is the root of all evil. Having no money is the root of all evil. Like people like to steal and stuff like that because they have nothing. I don't think that people like to, take because they have stuff. We wanna be more, like you said, to have this buffer, this more money, so that we don't have to worry about like, damn, where's my next money coming from? Like you said, you left your job because you knew, okay, I got this going on, or I got this extra money coming in, and I don't have to worry about if they don't pay me next week. At least I know I'm good for next week. We'll figure out the next 2 weeks later. But as long as next week comes and I got that money, I'm fine. And you need money. You need money, makes the world go round, whether we like it or not. We
Yeah.
need it to live, we need it to survive, we need it for rent, we need it for mortgages, car notes, whatever we need it, we all need money.
Yeah, and it's all
Hmm.
based on a value system. Like even
Yeah.
our money today is based on a value system of
Hmm.
like the only reason, and I think people get so caught up in like dollar bills, and I'm
Yeah.
like, they're pieces of paper. The only reason that they have value is because we've given them a value.
Yeah.
And the only real value that they have is what they can help you do.
Yeah.
That dollar bill has no value
No,
otherwise.
not at all. Has no
Like to
value.
Exactly, it's what that dollar bill represents for you. Like, does it
Exactly.
represent freedom? Does it represent security? Does it
Hmm.
represent like relaxing with your feet in the sand? Like
Yep.
whatever that money represents for you, that's the essence, not like the paper.
Right. Be it, even like when people separate from each other or a roommate or something like that, money means freedom. Money means being able to go out on your own and do what you want to do, leaving out your parents' house, leaving out get going off on your own and calling your own shots. That's what money means for people.
Yeah. Oh, it's so powerful. I feel like we hit on so much tonight, and I
Yeah, I
want to
feel so
be,
too.
yeah, it feels really good. I kind of want to like, whew, that was like super powerful message, and I want to let it like sink in for people, especially that
Yeah.
last piece.
Hmm.
Um, but I also want you to let everyone know how people can get in touch with you and
Hmm.
how they can get some of your amazing food.
Yeah. So at Lady Lexus Sweets. So Ladylexis, because you see Lexi on there, but it's IS. I know people all call me Lexi. It's just easier, it rolls off the tongue better, so that's why I become Lexi. Lady Lexis Sweets or Chef Lexis. With Chef Lexis, I will be doing more tutorials because people have been begging me, so I have no choice to give them what they want. More food, more recipes will be coming soon. So definitely follow me, Lady Lexis Sweets. You'll see where I pop up at. And Chef Lexus, you'll see more of the demos, more of like things like this where I'm telling them, how I got where I'm at, my journey, and what it takes to be a mom and an entrepreneur, and working this out and using family support to continue to strive on to be better. All those things that you need. You need a good family support in order to be an entrepreneur. If you don't have that necessarily blood family, you still have some type of family. So don't think about it only as blood, everybody. It can be whatever family you make, your friends, your best friends, your college classmates, whatever it is that you can confide in, that's your family. So
Yeah,
that's
that
mm-hmm.
I think that's a big thing for a lot of people that get stuck in this idea of like your family has to only be your blood family. Your
Mm-hmm.
family is the support system that you've chosen for yourself. So
Yep.
like there's no reason to limit.
Yeah, no
It
reason to
takes
lit the people. No.
it takes a village. It takes a
Yep,
village
it
for
definitely does.
everything.
For
So
everything.
yeah, like they say it takes a village to raise children, but it takes a village for literally everything. Anyone
Everything
who
to mold
tells you
people.
otherwise is lying.
It's long. Yeah, please. Yeah. I'm like, no way. These median household incomes, you're like, that takes a village to make that median household income. Because Lord knows, half those household incomes to really make it to buy houses or to buy anything, you need more people in there. So yeah, you
Yeah,
need it.
amazing. Oh my God, it was so great speaking to you, and
Likewise.
this was an amazing conversation, and I feel like we left people with like some pretty awesome info and also some pretty
Mhm.
heavy info and a lot of things to like really just chew on and think about. So
Yeah.
I'm I'm so happy that you came, and I hope everybody else enjoys your company as much as I do because
Yes.
this
I
was,
hope you guys do.
and I will totally post your info in the comments so that everybody can check you out
Yeah.
and get involved in all of the stuff that you're doing.
Yeah, and if you're in New York, go to Shake Shack on 125th Street. You get my snickerdoodles. Request it. Called the 125th Street Treat. So request it, please do.
Yes. Yay! Okay, cool.
Yes. Yes.
Have an amazing night, and
You too.
yeah, and for everybody watching, I will post stuff in the comments, ask questions, we'll answer.
Hmm.
Um, go to Shake Shack on 125th tonight if you're in New York.
I know, right? Close at 11.
There's still time. We got like an what, hour and a half?
Hour and a half.
Go
Yep.
people,
Still got time.
go,
Yes.
run.
Run.
Even
Bring
if
your
you're
ticket
in like
snack.
Rockaway, you can make it. You can make it.
You might just make it.
All right, and have a great night. And if you don't see me before next Monday, I will see you on Monday at our next Money Monday. And do not forget that I have Shark to Success School, which is my online school, and I just actually came out this last week, I think, with a new class about graduating from college debt free. Because
Ooh, that's a good
I
one.
did it, and I'll teach you how to do it too. And some of
Ooh.
the next courses coming up are going to be about credit cards, it's going to be about debt, and getting out of debt, obviously, not getting
Yeah.
into it. Um, and like all about maintaining a great credit score. So definitely keep a lookout for that. And this week is Connection Camp. So any of you that are coming to Connection Camp, I will see you on Thursday.
Sounds
Bye.
good.
Have a great night.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.